This video will show you how to create simple reports to get data from SIMS. The first method is to use the general student list, which is suitable for quick reports and simple reports. If there is a field that you do not want from the options which are given to start off with, then you simply right click and remove the column. If you want to add fields as columns, then you'll find them on the right hand side. They are in two groups, firstly academic and then subgroups of academic information, and standard, which has got basic details, registration details and so on in subgroups. So once you find the field that you want to add, you simply take it, click on it and drag it onto the sheet and drop it where you want it to appear. And you can have any number of columns appearing on this sheet, and you can include blank columns as well if you want to. You can filter the report. For example, if you just want to have those in year 8, then it will make those changes on the sheet in front of you. You can print that sheet, you can export that sheet to Excel. Perhaps the most useful use of student reports is the class list. This is particularly useful just before the start of the term, where you want to produce photographs of those in your class. At the moment, the browse is blank because it's the 1st of August when I'm recording this, and there are clearly no classes. So you need to change the date to the beginning of next term, wait for it to refresh, and then if you click on My Classes, and for example choose this one, then you'll get the same list of the students. But the advantage of this is that if you click on Photos, then you will get a photograph list that you can send to the printer and have as a quick reference in the classes. So that's the first way of producing reports. Now that's deliberately fast because there is another video that you can look at which deals with this in more detail. However, the standard way of creating reports is to use the report designer. Now in the first instance, it does little more than you've just seen with the student list, but it comes into its own when those reports are more complicated. So in the first instance, let's just do a simple report. You want to create a new report. You will follow the wizard, and this gives you step-by-steps, and let's say we want to create a student-based report. The students that you want to on roll, there are different options, but in this case on roll is correct. And then it gives you the fields which you can select in a similar way that the student list report gave you just now, and you simply have to find the ones that you want. It's not easy sometimes to find them, they're not in any particular order, and it's a knack to know precisely where they might be. But let's just supposing we want to have their name on there with their registration group, but we want the names separately. So we might want their legal surname, their legal forename. Now you either double click on these or you use the arrows to add it to the list. And then we would like their registration group. So you'll find that under the registration section, and it's about halfway down. And as we had last time, we'll have their age in there. So that would be back under basic details. Gender is one of the ones we want as well. And there's age. So having selected the fields, you can then reorder them using these buttons here. So supposing we'd rather have the surname after the forename, then we simply click that to put it at the top there. You can also rename the caption that will appear at the top of the column. So if you want the full name registration group, then you would type it in there, or in this case just reg group. Having chosen the fields, you then go on to the next section, which is to define the filter. And in this case, again, we just want to have those students in year 8. So you would have in here year group is, and in this case it gives you a list of options to tick, and then you can click on OK. And then continuing with that, you then have to choose whether you want to sort the report on any particular fields. Usually you can use the default. And then finally, you have to specify the date at which the report is run. Now clearly, if you're running this at the beginning of next term, you don't want to have today's date because there may be changes to those in this tool, but you could also supply the effective date when the report is run. So in this case, we'll use a fixed effective date of the 2nd of September. And you then have to choose the kind of output that you want. Now in most cases, again, it's suitable just to accept the default, but you might want to put it into Excel, as we'll be seeing later, in which case you would just choose Excel. You don't have to fill in the report titles here, but you may want to do that. It's always a good idea before you go ahead and actually run the report to preview it, to make sure that the data you're getting exists and it's of the type that you want. And you can see that in this case it certainly is suitable. So going back to the design, we've now got all we want, and you would then save this either as a report that only you can see, or one that is available to everybody. And then you would run this and it would go to, in this case, Excel. It takes a little bit of time. You sometimes have to click the buttons in order for the report to appear. It sometimes goes straight to print preview, in which case you need to close print preview, and then it will be in standard Excel. Going back into SIMS, into the report design, one of the modifications you might want to make is to have the question about which year group to be requested at runtime. So if you click on Modify and then you click Prompt at Runtime, now when the report runs or when you preview it, it initially comes up with a window saying which year group do you want it to run for. So we had year 8, let's just change this to year 9. You can have multiple versions as well. And then in the preview it should bring up those in year 9. So that's it. There are follow-on videos for this showing you how to include sub-reports and also macros. Hope this has been helpful. Thank you.